hello. After a week of publishers' meetings and book interviews in New York, I can hardly wait to kick off my shoes and relax. I don't know about you, but I could use a cup of tea. Isn't it amazing the amount of mail that accumulates in 1 week? Most of it is unsolicited. It's frightening to think of how many junk mail lists your name must be on. Oh my goodness, can the property taxes be due again? Get it? And Michael, up to some daring do, no doubt. Let's see what he's been up to. Oh. Get it? Marrying a man. I can't tell you how happy I am. Michael, you certainly do get around. Dear Jessica.
Dear Jessica, I thought I'd take a moment to give you all the details of Michael and my wedding. Yes, I finally managed to smack the Prosecco out of his hand and keep him out of Disney long enough to actually make an honest man of him. Now I know you love your stories, so do you want to hear ours? This is the story of Kevin and Michael. Roll credits. It all started 40 years ago. It was the late 1970s in Chelmsford, Essex, a time when all sorts of unacceptable things were acceptable, like bad hair, casual sexism, and disco. Everyone say hello to my dad. He's particularly excited because he's about to become father for the second time, and just after midnight in a house in Gallywood Road, baby Kevin popped out in the third ad break of TV cop drama The Streets of San Francisco. Kevin's mum looked at him, turned to his dad and said, "What did I miss?" His sister said, "Oh, it's a ginger." Young Kevin was masculine and butch, not camp at all. Boys wanted to be like him, girls wanted to be with him, and he grew to be 100% macho. Totally fearless, Kevin was sure-footed, an athlete, and into man things. What a sportsman. But as he grew older, Kevin realised he really was a man's man, and things started playing on his mind, until, in the new millennium, things came to a head. And as the clock struck 12, Kevin made an announcement which came as a surprise to no one, except his girlfriend at the time, of course. That's not her, by the way. And after dropping that big rainbow bombshell, Kev decided to run away. Anywhere. Australia. Here he discovered lots of wonderful things, like the local wildlife, views, creatures of the night, copious amounts of alcohol, Harold Flipping Bishop, and how to jump off a bridge. But hold up, this is a marriage of two people, and we seem to have skipped a little bit too far ahead. We need to meet Kevin's co-star in this relationship, and for that we need to go back to the 80s. (1986), a time of fluorescent fashion, leotards and big hair. As 8-year-old Kevin sat at home and watched another wedding on the television, somewhere across town in the wonderful suburb of Writtle, close to a very nice cooperative with excellent facilities and a post office, his partner in crime was about to arrive home, having made a dramatic entrance at St John's Hospital. Here, Michael had burst into the world in a shower of sequins and glitter, with his umbilical cord tied jauntily around his neck. A nice shade of blue, his mother turned to the doctor and said, "Ooh, isn't he ugly?" Often enjoying foreign holidays with his family, Michael grew to love the sun, the water, flip-flops, and posing in front of the camera. Things haven't changed at all, actually, have they? A bit of a tearaway, drama continued to follow Michael as he grew up. But prancing his way through school, never knowingly in the closet, he put it to good use, getting signed up by Debenhams to be a child model. After a short stint as a dancer in a well-known dance troupe, Michael decided to study it full-time. From very early on, everyone knew Michael was a massive fan of the D for Disney, and he would grow up living his life based entirely on the rules that they taught. Such as, you should absolutely dance with strangers, so long as they're handsome. Working all day and partying all night Cinderella style is a perfect lifestyle choice. Why bother with consent if it's true love's kiss? No capes, ever.
Knock it!
And of course that kidnapping is A-OK. And despite there only being one gay bar and one gay night in the whole of Chelmsford, it would be a few years before Kevin and Michael would find each other, their Prince Charmings. They just had to kiss a few frogs first. And then one night in 2005, it happened. Michael's long-suffering friend Nishma was there when they met. She says, "I was actually there the night Kev and Michael met. So Kev was working at the Club Chicago's. Michael was dancing with like his buttons undone all the way down to his feet, strutting his stuff, flicking his hair. And then Kev came over, and it was like the craziest thing. You wouldn't believe what happened." And that's exactly how it happened. Dating was brief, but effective. And before long, this new relationship had moved into a new flat. And with a new addition, their home was finally complete, as little Afro became their fur baby. Oh, ain't he cute? Say hello, Afro. New careers followed too, with Michael settling into a job that he'd been destined for, and had been doing for years anyway. Hair. Meanwhile, Kevin dabbled in radio and then in fashion, but he quit all of his jobs for a new one at the local co-op. Here, he was promptly outed to his work colleagues by a stage magician. It wasn't until 2013 that a change in the law made Kevin and Michael's wedding even possible. Because old men in suits decided that if two people with the same bits and bobs loved each other, it might not actually be the end of the world. Who knew? And with gay marriage in the UK now a thing, the pressure was on. At least that's what Michael told Kev. It only took a couple of years, much of which was in fancy dress. And those years were a roller coaster, often literally. The changes included a new house, and this in itself came with its own challenges. But the fun and the adventures never stopped. So, in 2016, off his tits on vodka and Disney, Kevin popped the question in the Disneyland Hotel. Michael's response? Followed, thankfully, by yes. That was, unbelievably, 2 years ago.
Y'all having a good time out there. Don't stop the party. Don't stop the party.
And you know what? Their engagement has been an absolute blast. Thanks a lot to some of their brilliant friends and family. That's you guys, by the way. And even a few more well-known faces.
So we have a bald man and Kenny G. Okay.
Well, if you're into Disney and drag, that is.
Hi, it's Bianca Del Rio, and I'm so excited to come to Michael and Kev's wedding. Yes! And if I'm not available to come to Michael and Kev's wedding, this video will suffice. Thank you for having me.
Kevin and Michael have only grown closer and more in love. And if you listen carefully, you might be able to hear Michael vomiting in the background. A couple of stag do's later, and the countdown was almost over. And then, just last week, on a beach in Cornwall, they finally tied the knot. Once they'd run into the sea, of course. Nope, hold on, that's not it. That's better. It was beautiful. They both looked stunning. And the party that followed was loud and spectacular. No, it really was. Look, see? But when the sun set on that day in Cornwall, it was just the end of part one. And a week later, back in Essex, the party kicked off with a bang.
Better for worse until death do you part. I can't tell you how happy I am. Thanks for dropping by, and good night.